Welcome back to the TrailerSmith. Here a while back we released a video talking about the 5 things you need to know about trailer tires. And after seeing all the comments, questions, all the feedback, maybe we should have made it 7 things about trailer tires. There was so much feedback we thought we may need to touch up on it, maybe go back and cover a few things. So stay tuned, that's what we're going to do today. Before we get into the video, I want to take you on a test drive, do a little comparison, and let's see where the rubber meets the road. So y'all go with me. I know that was a dumb test drive. You're probably thinking, this guy's an idiot, but just stay with me. I want to make a point. See these 2 boots here? This one is pretty, and well, I don't know about pretty. It's clean, so we'll go that clean. This one's dirty. These both meet the minimum specs, minimum standard that you have to have. They both are my size. They both fit. They're not completely awful. This one's not awful. They'll get me from A to B most days. Now, how long they'll last in comparison, I can't say for this one. I can say for this one. This one, I usually wear this 12, 13 hours a day. After wearing this one, I'm good for about 13 minutes. There's some huge differences. They both have rubber soles. They're both leather. They both have shoestrings. They're both shoes or boots, if you want to call them that. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's zero comparison in these. I will say this, there's been a time that I've had to wear this, that's all I could swing. When I can swing these, that's what I go. At the end of the day, you have to do whatever fits your budget. I get it, completely understand. But if you can swing something better, do that, it's gonna be safer. Because at the end of the day, this is just like a tire on your trailer or on your car or whatever you are driving or pulling. This is all that holds you to the ground. This is your only contact to the ground, is what's on the bottom here and what the side construction is, what they're made of. You've probably worn some cheap shoes or some bad shoes, so they hurt your feet. Same thing for your trailer or your tow vehicle. Putting a cheap tire on there, putting a tire that's not rated for what you're doing could definitely hurt you. So put the best that you can as far as tires and shoes on your feet. So with that being said, I'm gonna chunk this thing. Best $39 I've ever spent for this video. These are quite a bit more than that, but I'm gonna put this shoe back on right now because I'm leaning, because I only got 1 boot on, and then we're gonna talk about tires. One of the topics that's been brought up is LT tires, and especially LT tires on travel trailers. And I will tell you, there are manufacturers that put LT tires on the travel trailer. Why? I don't know. But I also don't know why they sometimes put a lightweight frame on the travel trailer, low-end appliances on the travel trailer, and put a lot of starter stuff. If you've ever owned a travel trailer, unless you bought an upper end, if you bought an entry level, you know as well as I do, you're gonna have to put a better mattress in there before you sleep on that rock the first time. And the same as buying utility trailers, like we stated before. Not all utility trailers are gonna come with good tires. We still have some manufacturers, even though it's not legal, but there's a loophole in the paperwork, that sell new trailers with used tires. Well, where would they get used tires? Sometimes they get them from the salvage yards. Sometimes they get them from pull-off trade-ins at tire dealerships or from recycling facilities. You can't sell it, but you can sell the trailer and say, hey, I'm giving you a set of good used tires out of the kindness of my heart. Back in the 90s, that was a very popular thing to do. It brought the cost of trailers down, but it did not bring the quality of the only thing keeping your trailer on the road of tires up. So just because an LT tire is on a travel trailer doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. But fortunately, I had a customer bring in a travel trailer this week that had LT tires on it. Unfortunately, he had to get it out of here today before we could show it in the video, but I did take a couple pictures of his rig and the tires on it, and you can see those now. As you see on here, he has a good name brand tire. It is a Goodyear tire. It is a 14 ply. It is an LT tire for light truck, not ST for specialty trailer. Is it good enough? Possibly. Will it work? I would imagine so for a time. So what is the difference? Well, the LT tire that he had on there, and one of the misconceptions is the LT are going to be heavier than ST. That is not correct. I have an ST here in the same exact configuration as the LT. On the LT that you've seen in the picture, it had a weight rating of 3,750 pounds for single tire setup. This is a Gladiator. It is a 14 ply 235/80/16, exactly like the one that was on the trailer, except for this is an ST. I will tell you, this tire from a quality standpoint would probably not be considered as nice as a Goodyear or a Michelin or some of the more popular name brand tires, but I will tell you that LT tire had a 3750 rating. This one has a 3960 rating on here. This is an ST tire. As I stated in the video, ST is specialty trailer. It's made to carry more weight. They're designed completely different than a truck tire or a passenger car tire. The grooving on them is different. The sidewall construction is different. The whole tire is different. Yes, they are black with a hole in the center, just like my boots a while ago were leather with rubber bottoms on them, but they are completely different as far as the quality and the makeup. They get me from A to B, but one is going to last a lot longer. I do have a older fifth wheel in here today that is a nicer model that has some good tires on it. We're going to sneak out there and look at those in a minute and do a couple more comparisons. So let's run out there and take a look at that. Here on this fifth wheel, we have one of my favorite trailer tires, the Goodyear Endurance 235/80/16 80 PSI tire. Has a load rating of 3420. This is just a great tire. It's good for RVers or trailers that are going to be on the road a lot. We have good service out of it. We use it a lot on the 225/75/15 application as well. Over here, we've got a tire that, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, it's a super cargo. And right after COVID, we couldn't get anything. We just took what we could get. One of my suppliers had this in stock, so I tried a few. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I was pretty skeptical of it. Didn't look maybe as good as the Goodyear Endurance. And I will say, I don't think it is as good as the Goodyear Endurance, but for its price range, it is a ST 235/80/16, has the exact same load rating as the Goodyear Endurance. For just your average, everyday trailer tire, it's held up well. It does good like the Gladiator, and it served us well. We've had no issues out of it. We have a lot of these on the road. So I was pleasantly surprised. We honestly got them because that's all I could get our hands on at the time. So we put them to work. They've done us a good job. Let's run back in the shop. Let's cover a few more things and we'll wrap this up. One question that came up is Gladiator a good brand? I will say we have good luck with Gladiator, just like the Super Cargo. They do make, as many other manufacturers do, a low-end trailer tire and ST. This is not their low-end tire. This is a good product. This one here is a 12-ply rating. It's going to have a higher load range than the 10-ply. You can get some 235/80/16 load range E 10 plies with a little more weight rating than the Goodyear Endurance, believe it or not. How they get that number, I couldn't tell you that. I'm just telling you from a standpoint of mounting the tire myself, feeling the sidewall, feeling the tire, the longevity, the service of it going down the road, it is a better tire than some of the other brands I've seen, but this is a good tire here as well. If that were my fifth wheel, I would probably be running a 12-ply on it instead of the 10. You can go too many plies. You can get a tire that's too heavy, that's going to be harder on your suspension and bearings. And that being said, that brings up another comment. Somebody said that to let some pressure out of your tires to keep them from bouncing too much. I'm not against airing down. I'll say that again. I am not against airing down. If you have a trailer that's completely unloaded, you're not carrying any weight, you're empty, if you want to let some air out of the tires to soften the load so it's not beating your teeth going down the highway, I get it. Our roads are rough here. Our roads are so rough here, we weld all of our suspension bolts, we tack weld them so they don't unscrew going down the highway. The only problem with airing down is you have to air back up. When this says it's rated, say, 3,000 pounds, if you air down, you've just decreased the load rating. If it says 3,000 pounds 80 PSI, it means 3,000 pounds 80 PSI, not 70 PSI. When you air down, you also take your load capacity down, which will cause an overheating of the tire and will cause your sidewall to blow out. If you're running duals, it could spread the tire out so much that they make contact between themselves and you had a catastrophic failure in that. So go ahead and air down if you're empty and making a long trip, but you're going to have a compressor with you. Pull into a service station that's got air, to air those back up, keep you a tire gauge handy. You should have that anyways when you're checking your tires every time that you pull it down the road, like a few of us do. I probably don't do that most of the times, and I should. So that's some of the biggest questions that were brought up. Going back to the LT versus ST, my opinion, the biggest thing on it is one is rated to carry more weight than the other, being the ST, specialty trailer, compared to light truck. It is going to be hard to find an LT tire that will carry the same weight rating as an ST tire. There may be some out there, but they're going to be far and few between. The other thing about ST versus LT, an LT, the same as a passenger car tire, it is not designed for free wheel movement. And what that means is on your tow vehicle, your back tires, or if you have a front wheel drive or an all wheel drive, they're pulling, and your front tires are turning, or if you have a 4-steer setup, all 4 wheels for parking, they are turning. So those treads are specifically designed, along with the sidewall, for the movement of that vehicle, not for freewheeling. The trailer is not pulling, it is being pulled, and is not turning. Yes, it will scuff sometimes on a tandem axle, most of the time, matter of fact, but the treads are set up to do that for freewheeling down the road. So, in my opinion, and that's just my opinion, that and about $1.83 will get you a large coffee. Where I come from, if you're paying much more than that, better be some good coffee. Don't just rely on me. Spend 10 or 15 minutes after you watch our video, of course, and do some research on LT and ST. There's some pretty big controversies on it. There's a lot of forums, there's a lot of chatter on there, and one day I'll probably be wrong like everything else and we'll have to change it. But for right now, I'm sticking with ST tires on my trailer. And if you say that word, well, it's got them cheap ST trailer tires on there. Well, they do make some cheap ST trailer tires, just like when you go buy a brand new pickup, many times they put the cheap LT tire on there, and at 30,000 miles, you got to go buy you a good Michelin or something like that. So check out the video. I think we're going to put it here, somewhere in here, on the 5 things to need to know about trailer tires. I hope this answers some more questions, maybe brings up some more debate, maybe some more good comments, and we'll see you on the next one.